When we talk about sex crimes, there are two sides that always get the attention: the offender and the victim. Society focuses intensely on both, as it should. But there's a third group that remains invisible, carrying a burden that nobody wants to acknowledge: the wives, the partners. The women who wake up one day to discover their entire world has been shattered by someone they trusted completely. I want to share something with you that might make you uncomfortable. It's about a reality that exists in thousands of homes, yet remains hidden behind closed doors and whispered conversations. This is about the women who didn't commit any crime, but whose lives became defined by someone else's actions. Imagine this. You've been married for years, maybe you have children together. You've built a life, shared dreams, created memories. Then one day, everything changes. The person you thought you knew becomes someone entirely different, not because they changed, but because you finally discovered who they really were all along. The ground beneath your feet disappears, and you're left falling through a reality you never imagined was possible. This is what happens when a woman discovers her husband has committed a sex offense. But here's where the story gets even more complicated. While society rightfully focuses on justice for victims and consequences for offenders, there's virtually no space for the complex emotions and impossible choices facing the wives left behind. These women face a series of devastating realizations all at once. First, the person they loved and trusted has betrayed not just them, but innocent victims. Second, their entire relationship history gets rewritten in their minds as they question every moment, every interaction, every sign they might have missed. And third, they must navigate a legal system, social judgment, and personal trauma while making decisions that will affect not just them, but often their children too. The isolation these women experience is profound. Family members often can't understand why they don't immediately leave. Friends disappear, unable to reconcile the woman they knew with someone connected to such serious crimes. Professional support is limited, as most resources focus on either offender rehabilitation or victim support. The wives exist in a strange in-between space where their pain is real, but somehow feels less legitimate in the eyes of others. Let me be clear about something important. Supporting these women does not mean excusing or minimizing the crimes committed. It doesn't mean prioritizing their pain over that of the victims. What it means is recognizing that trauma ripples outward, creating multiple layers of people who need support and understanding. These wives often become secondary victims of crimes they never committed and circumstances they never chose. The psychological impact on these women is severe and long-lasting. Many experience symptoms similar to those found in abuse survivors, including depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, and complex grief. They grieve not just for their relationship, but for the person they thought they knew, for their shattered sense of reality, and for the future they had planned. This grief is complicated by the fact that society often judges them for mourning someone who has caused such terrible harm. Financial devastation often accompanies the emotional trauma. Legal fees, lost income from the offending partner, potential job loss due to public exposure, and the cost of therapy can destroy families economically. Some women find themselves homeless or dependent on social services for the first time in their lives, adding immense practical stress to their emotional burden. The impact on children in these situations creates another layer of complexity. Mothers must help their children process the reality of their father's crimes while managing their own trauma. They face impossible decisions about visitation, custody, and how much truth to share based on their children's ages and emotional capacity. The children often blame the mother for the family's dissolution, not understanding the impossible position she occupies. What makes this situation even more challenging is the lack of nuanced public discourse. Society tends to see only two options: leave immediately or be complicit. But real relationships are far more complex. These women often love someone who existed alongside a person capable of terrible acts. The cognitive dissonance of holding both realities at once is overwhelming. Some of these women do leave, starting over completely and rebuilding their lives from nothing. Others stay, believing in rehabilitation and redemption while working to protect their families. Neither choice is simple, and neither should be judged without understanding the full context of each individual situation. The women who stay face particular scrutiny and isolation. They're often seen as weak, delusional, or somehow complicit, but their reasons for staying are complex and deeply personal. Some believe in their partner's ability to change. Others fear losing custody of their children or being unable to survive financially on their own. Some stay because they've seen genuine remorse and a commitment to treatment that others haven't witnessed. Creating space for these women as experiences doesn't require us to compromise our commitment to victims or accountability for offenders. It requires recognizing that human situations are complicated, that trauma affects multiple people, and that healing our communities means supporting everyone who needs help navigating the impossible circumstances. These women exist in our communities, in our schools, in our workplaces. They are carrying invisible burdens while trying to maintain normal lives for themselves and their children. They deserve compassion, support, and resources to help them heal and move forward, regardless of the choices they make about their relationships. If you are one of these women, your pain is valid. Your confusion is understandable. Your choices are yours to make. You are not alone in this experience, even when it feels like the entire world has turned away. Welcome to your safe space. This is Modern Day Leper, and we understand you, and we see you. Stay tuned for what's coming soon. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss it. Thank you for listening.